Welcome back to the channel, guys. We're gonna do a real quick video because as you can see, it is 103 in the shop today, and here in Wisconsin that is very, very hot. But this is going down the road. The last several months I've been kind of slowly piecing her back together. And over that time I finally realized I'm just kind of done with this truck. This is a 1942 Dodge pickup. I bought this truck somewhere between 2010 and 2012. I really don't remember the exact date. I thought I had written it down, but I don't know what I did with the information. Originally, back then, I was looking for a Ram Charger or some sort of 80s Dodge pickup at the time. And all that were available were ridiculously expensive for what they were. And I came across this, and this is a pretty cool looking thing. And back in those days, it was before I had my side hustle going on. I had more time than money. I kind of had gotten a point on my Dart Sport where the last thing left to do on it was to give it a paint job. Now that car originally came from California, and it was still wearing its original paint. And it was in a fairly good condition car, and I really didn't want to tear that nice car apart to do my first ever paint job. Even though I do have experience painting other things like cabinets and wood and stuff like that, painting a car is kind of a completely different beast. So I went looking for a project, and I was kind of looking along the lines of getting a truck. I couldn't find the truck I wanted, so then I kind of got this truck. Well, and somewhere along that line I decided to sell the car just because I could use that money to put into here. And economically at the time, that was 2010 to 2012. That was when this country was going through a lot of stuff at the time. I was laid off there for a little while, and it just made sense. Well, I think what I ended up doing with the money I got from the car is I paid off my bills, so it really didn't affect me at all that I was laid off for a while. And I never really wanted to do much to this truck at the time, just because I really didn't have the extra money then to work on it. So I tore it apart because you could tear shit apart for free. I already had the truck at the time. And that was all the farther it got. And at some point, I started doing work on the side so that it got shoved into storage because I was using my garage to do side work out of. And that quickly evolved into I started renting out a shop that was big enough I could work on this while I was making money. Well, I really wasn't making enough money to make it. Well, the money I was making was going back into renting that shop. So it was kind of like a net zero type of thing there. And over the years, I kind of had different, because when I first bought it, I was going to make it a hot rod. Then I had the ideas of putting it on different truck frames and this and that. And I think a lot of those ideas, I was trying to change it up to make the idea of working on this truck fresh again, so I'd actually do anything. And then once I finally moved into here, it was always to wait till I could build this bigger shop. And that took, I'll be living in this house 8 years and a couple weeks here. So that took 7 years longer than it should have, because this didn't get built till last year, at the end of last year. And since then, I've kind of got these Ramcharger projects, and I'm kind of way more interested in this because this was originally what I was looking for anyways. So I started putting this together, and some of the idea was to spark my interest in working on this again, and some of it was just because this has been a part for so long, I was starting to forget where a lot of these parts went to. And not to mention just making it easier to move around, because it's easier to move one big vehicle, even though it doesn't run, than it is to move 50,000 pieces all the time. So lately, as I've been finally getting to the point of it being mostly back together again, I've finally given up the idea of keeping it, and because with the way prices are right now, I could use that money for a lot of different things. I could put it back into my vehicles. There's a sawmill I would like to get. There's tools in the wood shop I would like to upgrade. There's a lot of things I could do with that money. So I decided to send her down the road. So Monday night, I put it up on Facebook, and then pretty quickly I had 2 replies. And well, of course, anytime you put a vehicle on Facebook for sale, you always get that scammer that message you within a couple minutes of your posting. Then the second guy that posted was actually a legit person. He goes, "Hey, I'm originally from Elkhorn too. I live in Lake Geneva now, and money's tight. Would you be interested in any kind of trade?" And I'm like, I really wasn't looking for a trade. I got projects going on. So I said, any 70s or 80s truck that's in equal condition body-wise, or an A-body. Kind of unattainium right now in my area, because you're not, anything with a decent body that runs, you're going to pay at least 10 grand for around here. Even stripped down, you're still going to pay at least 5 to 7-ish if it's just a nice rolling chassis. I figured, well, no one would take me up on that offer, and sure enough, he says, "Oh yeah, that sounds great." So he comes and looks at the truck the next day, and I'm kind of thinking at this point, what he has probably isn't what I'm really looking for, and he shows me some pictures, and I'm like, I am kind of intrigued by what he has. So then I went and looked at the next day, and we made the deal. I'm not going to say what I'm getting just yet. That can be a topic of a different video, but I am trading this plus $1,000 for what I'm getting. So I've just been getting all the pieces. I still have a lot of pieces that were squandered away to different little hidey holes that I was hiding parts in. I'm even giving them some of the extra parts I've kind of picked up along the way. Like I was going to use, like these seats are out of a Dakota. I got the center console here. I have the brackets for the pedal system here, in case he wanted to use that, because I was kind of thinking about that, because so I was going to put a V8 in here, and when you use a V8, the pedal system that originally comes on the truck is all part of the same bracketry, if I remember right, that mounts the back of the engine and trans together, I think. I think that's how it went. So I'm not sure if the original pedals would have worked for me, but I think he wants to put it back to original, so I'm just going to give him everything that I've been saving for it, and he can figure it out himself. He did want me to free up this one brake back here, but I forgot that this was, you have to use a puller to get these older styles off, and I don't have a puller to do that, and I don't have the materials to to rig up something to make it work. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tire back on it and push the track, use my tractor and push this truck back and forth a bunch of times until it frees up, because it does free up the more you move it around. It's just when it sits for the length it's been, it just freezes right back up again. This fender, at one point, I did try to sandblast it, and man, was the paint that they used on this was really tough. I was using red garnet blasting media, and it was hard just getting this one fender done. And of course, I never got to blasting anything else. So I tried to do that the last week that I had that shop I was renting, because it had a pretty huge compressor in it. This would have made a cool hot rod, but I just don't have time for this kind of a project right now. I need my projects to be able to be driven while I'm working on them, because with a lot of the side work I've been taking lately, it takes away from my time here that I have to spend over in the other shop. And right now, I like to just get this building paid off for, so I don't have to think about it no more, and I can move on to bigger and better projects, like the project I'm getting from him, and of course this Ramcharger project. Sometimes you just got to know when to cut your losses on something, and that's what I'm doing. I don't see the point in sticking it in storage, and what will it be in storage for, like another 10 years, and I'll be another 10 years older and well into my 50s, almost 60s at that point, and am I gonna feel like working on it then, So sometimes you gotta send one down the road, and that's what I'm doing. Man, she is a cool looking truck though, but and then these buckets here, I don't know if the camera picks it up too well because it's kind of dark in here. There's all the extras for different things. All the smalls. Now this truck didn't have much of an interior when I got it. Not that they really had much of an interior back in these days anyways. The wooden floor that it was never there, I guess it rotted away years ago along with the wooden floor that was in the bed. It did have an engine in it when I got it. It was all locked up because it sat for 50 years out west somewhere in some guy's collection. And when he passed away, his kids didn't want any of the trucks, so they sold them off. And well, in that 50 years, it sat with no spark plugs in it, so it was locked up tighter than you can imagine. And I really wasn't interested in that engine anyways. Like I said, I was going to put a V8 in this thing. And I did end up selling that engine off to he didn't have a pickup yet. I don't remember if he had a van or a big car or something at the time. And I think the guy just wanted it to pick parts off of. I don't know if he was planning on rebuilding it or not, to tell you the truth. Or I might have known back years ago when I sold it, but I don't remember now. And I know that's been kind of a mistake that's kind of haunted me a little bit, because Because this isn't the first time I've tried selling it. I've tried to sell it a couple other times over the years, but I really couldn't get anyone to come look at it because it didn't have a driveline. Everyone that's never looked at this has always wanted to make this original. No one's ever wanted to make it a hot rod like I have, but I know sometimes when you tell them all the engine's gone, like you go, oh, should have kept it, man. Like, well, it wasn't an interest to me at the time. So yeah, we're going on 16 minutes here. This video doesn't need to be that long, so I'll talk to you guys later, and when I get the new project in, we'll take some video of that. I'll talk to you later.